What up, Long Beach? Welcome back to your home for everything local sports. This episode of Long Beach Sports Talk is brought to you by Naples Rib Company. It's presented by the Gazette newspapers and the Press Telegram because we cover everything in and around the 562. High school sports, college sports, heck, we'll even stop off at Fluke Talk. And as always, it is brought to you by 3 DJs and 1 Cité. My name is JJ Fiddler. To my left,
Mike Garvasio, and to my left,
Tyler Hendrickson. You know they call me TY, but you don't know me. And let me just mention right now, you got to get in touch with us if you love these 3 DJs in the cité. You got to get on the social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're all on there. Also want to mention to get the Press Telegram app downloaded onto your phone. And find us on YouTube. I know video is very popular, including this one. So get on there, Gazette Sports, or search PT Gazette Sports on YouTube. The kids are crafty. They'll know how to find us.
I don't think they'll struggle too much. If you want to actually hold the newspaper in your hand, that's pretty easy to do as well. You can go to presstelegram.com and find the subscription number. Call that number and ask for the $52 for 7-day-a-week 52-week service. So for $52, you get the Press Telegram with our sports coverage in it every single day of the year. Pretty good deal if you ask me. You can also go to gazettesports.com and put your email address into our e-newsletter subscription. That will give you the digital copy, essentially, of the newspaper in your email inbox every single morning. I don't know how else we can reach you.
Long Beach Sports, it's right here. No need to go anywhere else. Stick around, we got a great show coming up. Jump on in, the water's fine. We've got a water polo preview high school style in the Press Telegram right now. Go pick it up, or like Mike just mentioned, go subscribe. We've got some great teams in the local area, starting with your Long Beach Wilson Bruins.
Obviously, powerhouse dynasty right there, and certainly a team you always want to follow. They won the championship 2 years ago and were in the championship game last year, so always a team to keep your eye on.
We got the chance to see them play Los Alamitos. Really interesting rivalry there. Those kids play against each other from the club level all the way through the high school level. Heck, even Jeff Naismith, the first-year head coach at Los Alamitos, is a Wilson guy. He went to Wilson with Tony Azevedo. He went to Stanford with Tony Azevedo. They won a few championships. So the water polo scene here in local Long Beach, very tight-knit community. But it doesn't stop there. We also got some great teams in the San Gabriel Valley League.
Well, and it's led by Cerritos. They were just so close to making it to the championship game in Division 4 last year, looking to get back there again and get a little farther under ninth-year head coach Paul Park. So that's part of that preview. Watch out for the Dons. They're ranked 3rd in Division 4, so they're a problem.
So make sure you stay tuned to the Press Telegram and Gazette Sports and GazetteSports.com for all of that local boys water polo coverage. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready? Roll 'em.
If you're a big high school sports fan, and obviously we assume that you are, you want to make sure you pick up that Tuesday copy of the Press Telegram because we've got 2 weekly features in there that you want to keep your eye on. The first, I've been writing every week for the last 5 years or so by the books. It breaks down where all the local teams are in the rankings. That's the CIF rankings, LA Times rankings, Max Preps, USA Today. I try and get everything, and you're not going to find one article each week that mentions more teams than by the books because obviously we have a lot of quality teams in the area.
Does that make me the calendar guy?
Mr. Calendar!
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Anyways,
You're just a calendar boy.
every Tuesday, it's a 2 for Tuesday, actually, because you get by the books and then you get a calendar telling you where you should be this week. Actually, this week there was a great game every day. So a perfect week to kick that off. That is every Tuesday. It's 2 for Tuesday in your local PT. You know we're going to give it to you each and every week. It is high school football here in the local area. It's the start of the Moore League schedule. And if you want to know how the Moore League teams did in the first half of the season, just pick up an issue of the Gazette newspapers this week, the GazetteSports.com section, bringing you an exclusive mid-season report card. And if you brought it home, you're probably going to get your parents to sign it, because it's not as fresh as it's usually been.
It's not a report card like you would want. I mean, we saw this last year.
You're not putting it on the fridge.
No, certainly not. Your grandpa's not taking you to Chuck E. Cheese's after seeing that report card. A lot of lower grades, a lot of not passes, because that's sort of the situation we find the Moore League in now.
But we explain why. One of the teams getting a very good grade is the St. Anthony Saints, who are undefeated right now, and it actually leads us into last week. We were talking about what we were most curious to see over the weekend here in local high school football. Mike's was was hashtag TD Watch over there in the Saints with junior quarterback Jake Hooper, senior wide receiver Kevin Jackson.
Hooper inching ever closer to the all-time single-season touchdown record, and Jackson, his favorite receiver, inching closer to the single-season touchdown receiving record. So it doesn't look like they're going to hit it this week because Jake still needs 10 touchdowns in the next 7 games. He's in pretty good shape for that. And Kevin Jackson needs 4 receiving touchdowns in 7 games again. They're both in good shape, and we could, 2 weeks from now when we have St. Anthony versus Valley Christian, we could start to see those records come down.
Tyler was curious about the Cabrillo Jaguars.
Yeah, the Jags, after being so close to being 3-0 in the first 3 weeks, but ending up 0-3, really took their lumps against Orange Lutheran. A tough team to play, a finicky type team, and unfortunately the Jags are really going to have to regroup because it gets no easier starting Moore League as they take on Poly at Vets. But the Jags still plenty of talent over there, but they got some things to figure out.
Speaking of things to figure out, my curiosity was around the Norwalk football program and running back Rashad Penny. It really is because I think I'm going to be following this all year long. Rashad Penny is a beast. He's getting looks from Pac-12 schools. He's one of the best running backs in Southern California, but he doesn't touch the ball very often, and he didn't last week, but he still put up massive numbers. I think we can expect that again this week as they take on Cerritos actually tonight, and we're going to have a highlight video from that game so you can actually watch Penny do work.
Yeah, Mike and I will be out there watching the Lancers go to work as they're going to be taking on Cerritos. A very interesting matchup as they start their league slate. But Norwalk, I mean, they're a top-ranked team, and a lot of expectations on this squad. I mean, they could go undefeated and be a serious championship contender, and it does start and end with Penny in that offensive line.
They're actually currently in their CIF division ranked number 1, and that's an exciting division for us because Downey is ranked number 2. So we've got the 2 local teams who could end up actually playing each other for a championship.
Hit them with it. Let's look forward to this weekend. Where are we going to be at?
I'm going to be at the Poly Cabrillo game as we start off the Moore League schedule. Not necessarily the most action-packed Moore League week. We've got Poly and Cabrillo playing, Wilson and Jordan are playing, and Compton and Milliken are playing. But obviously you want to see how the CIF champion Jackrabbits start their league title defense.
My plan for Friday is to wake up at about noon and then realize that I have to be in Compton soon. And I'm going to be covering Dominguez and Compton Centennial. That's a 5 o'clock game. So if you're going to get out there, you got to be a little early. So a little twilight football action, Friday night lights at halftime. But I'm excited because that is basically for who's going to be the best team in Compton. They both have victories over Compton High. So that little triangle of Compton schools all comes down to the Dons and the Apaches. Should be a lot of fun.
I'm going to be at one of the 3 Suburban League openers. It's going to be Artesia and Mayfair. Artesia actually having one of their most successful seasons in recent history. And we'll see if they can beat their rival Monsoons on Friday night. For all of that local football coverage, you know right where to be. It's right here.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that the Saints are going to be in a very, very good place on Friday. They're going to spend their Friday night in the great city of Upland. But
that's getting cut.
Needless to say, it's been real tough over at LBCC for the football team the last 14 games, but there's been a lot of changes from the field to the booth as the Vikings finally break their losing streak as head coach Brett Peabody got an impressive win at OCC. Yeah, you know me. And the Vikings are now 1-2 and an improving squad that we're excited to see on Saturday. They'll be back at home.
Yeah, they are taking on El Camino at Veterans Memorial Stadium, 6 p.m. on Saturday.
I'll be there. Tyler will be there filming. Very excited to see them try and get their first winning streak in 2 years now that they've got the monkey off their back as far as that losing streak. And, you know, it started to weigh on people. I will say that because their new coach, Brett Peabody, as Tyler mentioned, he's new. He's brought a lot of energy. But after that first loss, close loss, you could tell it wasn't just that he was 0-1. He felt that the program had lost 13 in a row.
Well, and the first 2 games that they lost were both very close. So it sort of felt like same old story. You know, we're going to play pretty well, but still can't quite get over that hump and finish those comebacks.
With a late push to make it more interesting than it really was, yeah.
Exactly. And let's note that with the later times, the crowds have been much better over at Vets. And now that they've won a game and they're trying to get this momentum going, we expect to see a pretty lively crowd over there at Vets Stadium. And if you want college football in Long Beach, LBCC is where you get it.
And it is the first conference game for them as well, so if there's a perfect time to start a winning streak, it's right now.
Somebody fire up a barbecue in the parking lot, please.
Hey, can we continue to not talk about Lane Kiffin?
Yep.
Women's soccer, some football at Long Beach State, coming off a huge upset of number 11 BYU last weekend. They are back at home tonight, Thursday, 6 p.m., George Allen Field to take on San Francisco. And the upsets don't mean anything if you don't take care of the wins you're supposed to get.
Well, you're right, JJ. They got to keep this going, and with a young team, they can't think about their upset too much, as impressive as it was over the number 11 team in the country. But that's just what Mauricio Ingracia's team does. They knock off some of the nation's best, and let's see if those young freshmen can keep it going and maintain their focus against San Francisco.
Well, I think that they're going to be able to. You mentioned it. The freshmen, to me, are the story, because who would have thought? I think this year when we looked at the roster, even, to be honest, even Ingracia was sort of downplaying expectations for this team. When we ran into him at Jewels of the Night last year and said, how's the team look in the spring? He was like, well, we got a lot of young players that are going to be out there. And so you're thinking maybe a year or two down the road they're pulling upsets like this. I certainly did not think they were going to beat number 11 with that many freshmen on the field.
Some of those black and gold fans didn't either, but they got a treat on Saturday. Third largest crowd in program history showed up to see that upset. Hopefully another big crowd tonight. Again, Thursday, 6 p.m., George Allen Field. Long Beach State taking on San Francisco. If you can't get there, get back here where you'll find all the coverage.
It's a good start.
You go.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. By that, do you mean yes?
Yeah.
It was just one of those days last weekend where you're like, I want to put on a chicken suit, strap myself into a homemade flying apparatus, and throw myself off of a 4-story pier. You know what I mean? Do you know the kind of day I'm talking about?
I do know the type of day you're talking about. It was a National Flugtag in Long Beach last weekend, where a bunch of chickens had something to say about a world record. 258 feet over Rainbow Harbor. Pretty darn impressive. As you can see from the other attempts, not quite as far as the makeshift airplane wing that a bunch of rocket scientists put together. Literal rocket science. Put some chicken suits on and then took it to the streets, or the sea, as it were. A fun day out there. Standing out there in the sun, though, after a while, it kind of gets old.
Yeah.
So that's why we bring you the highlight video. It condenses 4.5 hours into about 6.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So you can see everything you want to see, but you don't actually have to go out there.
No, you need it to be condensed like that a little bit, because
Yeah.
it's a lot. And a lot of people did come out, though. The crowd topping out right at about 110,000, just like it did the first time they came to Long Beach. So hopefully we can keep getting that event back. I think that's very cool for downtown.
The shot of Parker's Lighthouse is my favorite shot because you just can't see the grass.
Lighthouses are dope.
It's just a bunch of people. It's pretty awesome.
Flugtag.
3 down, so many to go. Another episode of Long Beach Sports Talk officially in the books. We are covering everything in the local Long Beach area. Happening in the 562, we got it locked. Obviously at the Press Telegram, at GazetteSports.com. We've told you about all the social media. We will see you in the stands this weekend. For Mike, for Tyler, for JJ, for everybody involved in this show and everything else.
We are JJ.
Thank you, Long Beach.
You do not need to say
Stay solid.
for JJ.
Peace.
I'm saying it. You're saying it.
No, that's horrible.
Oh my.